Namaste, Francois. Now I want to talk about foreign policy of India, specifically as it relates to China, because it's such a huge topic.
Right.
What do you think of this?
I do think that China is India's biggest enemy. Not only India, but that the Chinese, for some karmic reason, whatever their qualities, have a thirst for domination of the world. And they're doing it in two ways. They're flooding in three ways. They're flooding the world with their goods, which is okay. And then they're trying to control the Chinese Sea and the Indian Ocean, which is not okay.
The trade routes.
Yes, through the Spratly Islands,
Yes.
and of course India. And the third one is the Silk Road, the new Silk Road, which is a very ambitious and very, very costly project that will seek, to have a channel, through the Himalayas, which is a dangerous place for India, through the Himalayas, onto Pakistan, then onto the rest of the world, to flood the world with their goods. So there is a domination spirit in China, which is because of the economical power, is very, 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 obvious and, very concrete. And the only country that could be the buffer, and has been a buffer traditionally, is India. India is the only country that can be a buffer to China. But the West is not looking at India as a geostrategical, natural, economical, military, nuclear buffer, maritime also buffer to China, neither the Europe nor the United States. So India needs that support because India is directly threatened by China. China has encircled India very, very, very cleverly. You know as well as me,
Sure.
From Nepal to Sri Lanka, everywhere.
They're going to take over Nepal.
They're
going to take over
Nepal.
Not in terms of direct military presence, but in having a puppet that caters.
I mean,
to
the
them.
Maoists were encouraged by Sonai Gandhi. I was there.
And right, the heartland of India, and that's where a lot of water in the Ganga comes from, melting ice and snow in Nepal comes down south. So, being able to put dams there and pump the water up north through Tibet, all those things they can do.
Yes.
And they can, the building dams on the Brahmaputra already starting.
Okay.
So, a lot of the rivers of Asia start there in Tibet. And so that is an issue. They have a geographical advantage. And they've taken over part of Kashmir from Pakistan and built this whole thing.
Right.
Okay, and also through Myanmar. And India hasn't been vigilant in all of this stuff.
So in that way, Mr. Modi was not much different, than the previous government of the Congress, to counter this Chinese domination, hegemony, there's the word hegemony. True, he needs the support of the West, but there is one thing that rattles the Chinese, which India has, and it's Tibet. And the Dalai Lama. You pronounce the name of the Dalai Lama, and it makes the Chinese irrationally mad, completely mad.
That is the only counter to the Chinese threat. So, but the bad news is, Dalai Lama is getting old, and India hasn't developed a good successor in place. The likely successors, or the possible successors, have been exiled or disowned by India.
The Karmapa.
The Karmapa, who's a young man,
he's here in the US, I think.
he's settled to the US and he's got citizenship of one of the Caribbean countries.
Yes.
Because he feels that in India they're not giving him proper rights. If he leaves the country, he cannot come back. He needs permission to travel.
They're not giving him freedom in India.
They're not giving him freedom. He should be India's ambassador, in a sense, on the whole China issue. He should be the speaker on behalf of Dalai Lama, not just talking spirituality and Buddhism, but the whole geopolitics of Tibet.
He's a bright young man.
He's a bright young man. India should use him rather than keep him out under some fear that he's a Chinese spy.
Again a Nehruvian thinking.
It's a ridiculous idea. I mean, I know many people who are in his inner circle, and they all feel very disappointed that rather than having people who understand Indian civilization, the role of Tibet, the role of Buddhism as a buffer to China, is so critical.
Excuse me to tell you, but Sushma Swaraj has been a disastrous external affairs minister.
She doesn't even understand
She
basic
has
things.
no understanding about global policy. She has no understanding about Tibet.
What will happen when, not if, because we'll all die, when the Dalai Lama is gone and there is no clear successor, the counter to China will be dismantled.
Gone.
The Tibetans who are living in Dharamsala and various places will just assimilate, become one more group of Indians. There will be no international presence that the Dalai Lama gives. There is no international perceived threat that currently China has a perceived threat that they can always pull the Dalai Lama card on us. So India is sitting on an opportunity. Before he dies, they have to boost a successor of tremendous clout and tremendous charisma.
If Mr. Modi gets re-elected now in 2019, he can immediately start, propping up the Dalai Lama, who's an extraordinary man,
Yes, yes.
He's an extraordinary man.
And like you train your successor, Dalai Lama should be encouraged that, okay, let's get Karmapa back.
Yes.
Let's apologize, get Karmapa back. And you go on a world tour all the time and take him along, and you speak and then he speaks, and then that way you position him as somebody who will take over.
That put immense pressure on the Chinese, and India will leverage.
If India were to, Dalai Lama, can get access. So India should get him access, and he can take the Karmapa as the successor, who is a very young man, half his age.
He's 40, he must be 38,
38, yeah, late 30s probably, maybe 40s. So exceedingly well educated, speaks brilliant English, understands modern stuff, understands Tibetan Buddhism, Hinduism and all that. He understands all that. So we are not utilizing him.
No.
That's lack of vision.
I mean, China is controlling all the countries around India.
They don't recognize Sikkim as a part of India. They don't recognize Arunachal as a part of India.
Kashmir
2 states.
Also,
they don't recognize Kashmir as a part of India. They bought off from Pakistan a part of Kashmir, which was Pakistan occupied. They're building this highway system through it. They are not even willing to allow the terrorists in Pakistan to be acknowledged as such by the UN. Absolutely. And they keep blocking, they put veto all the time.
Absolutely.
So what else do we need?
Shameful.
What else do we need to understand their intentions?
We need a Putin. We need a Putin who says no more shit. Now I'm going to. And Tibet, is so important, as you said, because of the rivers which are born there, all the great rivers of Asia.
If hypothetically Tibet were autonomous, not part of China, there would be no Kashmir problem. There would be no Kashmir problem.
Absolutely.
Because Kashmir problem exists because China has access and can help Pakistan. India could then counter a lot easier. There would be no threat that the rivers will be taken over. There will be no threat that China is going to take over this Arunachal and Nepal and all
even the Kashmir problem will get
it will get solved
by itself.
India would have access through this neutral. If there were a neutral Tibet, India would have access to all the Central Asia, all the way to Russia. India would have so much, the whole trade routes. The Chinese dream of this Silk Route being revived and the One Belt, One Road would all fall apart. So if you really think about it, Tibet is the most strategic geographical area in the world. Since ever it has been. People have not understood, and it is India's job to put this on the table, that Tibet is the most important geographical place in the world.
It's on top of India. Last war in '62, the Chinese won because they came down from Tibet onto Assam, they came to the plains.
Right.
If there's again a war, I think there'll be a war between China and India. If there is a war, it will be between China and India, not Pakistan and India. If there's a war, again, they have this huge strategical advantage that, not only they can swoop down from Tibet, but all the nuclear weapons are in the Tibetan caves, There's a great expert on Tibet who is a Frenchman. His name is Claude Happy. You should interview him one day.
I have met him.
He's the greatest expert I know on Tibet.
He's backing the Tibet pavilion in Auroville.
Yes.
Yeah, I know him very well.
Yes.
I was part of that when they were funding that.
All right. So he's the greatest expert I know on China and Tibet. He could advise Mr. Modi. He should. He should. If Mr. Modi has the humility, to take advice from people who are expert in their own, fields.
Who is thinking strategically about the China?
Nobody's thinking. Nobody's thinking. I mean, I know it's a huge thinking to do, but still, there are experts, and they should be, they should be utilized. But nobody's thinking. There's not at the center someone who thinks. The Chinese are the biggest threat to India. They are the biggest threat to India.
To the United States also.
But the US is a powerful nation. You see, it's a powerful nation.
No, but it is, of course, much more than India. But the point is that the Chinese have taken the heart, the guts, taken the money supply with all the billions that they've taken from the US. But most dangerous thing that they've done to the US is theft of intellectual property, including military secrets.
I heard about
that. And so they've stolen a whole lot of stuff because before Trump they were not so vigilant. And they were just doing some surface deals to keep them happy, appeasement. It was China appeasement. And that China appeasement has to
They're
go.
good at that.
Yeah.
They're very good.
They're very good to be very nice, soft kind
Very
of.
good. Mr. Modi fell for it. Huh?
Yeah, he fell for it.
He got that guy in Ahmedabad, and it was
And they were
so
sitting
nice.
on the jhula and all that, and that guy ate.
And he got
probably had some local, chai and said.
But
had a
Hindus
few
are good people. Hindus are good people. Mr. Modi is a Hindu. After all, he's a good man because
No,
he's
but
a Hindu.
wait a second. Good, as in Mahabharat, would also make you a Kshatriya.
Yes.
Okay, because good as a political leader is a Kshatriya, and that is his job. If he can't do it, he should not be in that job, and that requires strategy, shrewdness, cunningness, being able to outsmart your opponent, being able to read your opponent.
But he has that.
So goodness is, the goodness of the heart, that we like everybody and all that, is one aspect of being a Hindu, but you also have to be a clever Kshatriya.
But India has lost that Kshatriya spirit a bit, There are not many Kshatriya, even intellectual Kshatriya.
Yes.
Not many.
Yes.
Not many.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.